Okay, so why don't we start with the sight words? Do you remember those? As, has. As, has. And remember, these are trick words. They're tricky, so we just have to know them. They don't follow any rules. We have to know them. You're right. One. One. They. They. You got it. Or, for. Or, for. You're right. Is, his. Is, his. We just did this one this week, right? You, your. You, your. Of. Of. You know this one? Correct. Into. To. Right? I. And. The. Was. Now this one is full of them, but I think you know all of these, right? We, he, she, be, and me. Once I recognize one of those, I should remember all of those sight words. All right, well, let's take a look at our sound cards here. Can you give me this one? You're right. J, judge. H, hat. F, fun. B, bat. Y, yellow. Q, U, queen. Qua. M, man. L, lamp. O, good job. Z, zebra. Z. R, rat. And nut. Good job, friends. All right, now we're going to do some sound cards. We're going to do some sound cards. You're right. CH, chin, ch. Good job. TH, thumb. Make sure you stick that tongue out. Good job. SH, ship, sh. CK, sock, k. Correct? WH, whistle. A, apple, at. Do it with me. A, apple, at. U, up, up. U, up, up. I, itch, it. I, itch, it. E, add, at. E, add, at. O, octopusa. O, octopusa. Do you remember that new sound that we just learned yesterday? Does anybody remember that new sound we learned just as of yesterday? I heard some of you say it nice and loud, and you are right. Our new sound is A-L-L, ball, all. Can you say it with me? A-L-L, ball, all. We're going to keep working on our bonus letters and our glued sounds This is an example of a glued sound. It is always glued together. We tap it together as one sound. All. One sound glued together. We're going to keep working on those bonus letters. We know that this also has a bonus letter. It has the 2 L's in it. And we're going to keep talking about those. All right? So now, as I promised, we're going to look at
Okay, so that was our Fundations review for the day. And we are going to move on to our reading portion. For reading today, you are going to practice reading that book that you recorded on Flipgrid. You want to make sure that you are practicing so when we record it again at the end of the week, we can see that progress, how we're using that smooth voice. For reading for our stories, today we're going to look at The Stinky Cheese Man. And I told you this is one of my favorites. Once upon a time, there was a little old woman and a little old man who lived together in a little old house. They were lonely, so the little old lady decided to make a man out of stinky cheese. She gave him a piece of bacon for a mouth and 2 olives for eyes, and put him in the oven to cook. When she opened the oven to see if he was done, the smell knocked her back. Phew, what is that terrible smell? She cried. The stinky cheese man hopped out of the oven and ran out the door calling, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the stinky cheese man." The little old lady and the little old man sniffed the air. "I'm not really very hungry," said the little old man. "I'm not really all that lonely," said the little old lady. So they didn't chase the stinky cheese man. The stinky cheese man ran and ran until he met a cow eating grass in the field. "Wow, what is that awful smell?" said the cow. Take a look at the cow. The stinky cheese man said, "I've run away from a little old lady and a little old man, and I can run away from you too, I can. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the stinky cheese man." The cow gave another sniff and said, "I bet you could give someone 2 or 3 stomach aches. I think I'll just eat weeds." So the cow didn't chase the stinky cheese man either. The stinky cheese man ran and ran until he met some kids playing outside the school. "Gross," said a little girl. "What's that nasty smell?" "I've run away from a little old lady and a little old man and a cow, and I can run away from you too, I can. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the stinky cheese man." A little boy looked up, sniffed the air, and said, "If we catch him, our teacher will probably make us eat him. Let's get out of here." So the kids didn't chase the stinky cheese man either. You see them up here on the playground? By and by, the stinky cheese man came to the river with no bridge. "How will I ever cross the river? It's too big to jump, and if I try to swim across, I'll probably fall apart," said you-know-who. Just then, the sly fox, who shows up in a lot of stories like these, poked his head out of the bushes. "Why, just hop on my back, and I'll carry you across, Stinky Cheese Man. How do I know you won't eat me?" "Trust me," said the fox. So the Stinky Cheese Man hopped on the fox's back. The fox swam to the middle of the river and said, "Oh man, what is that funky smell?" The fox coughed, gagged, and sneezed. Achoo! And the Stinky Cheese Man fell off his back into the river, where he fell apart. The end. How about that for an ending? So when I ask you about this story, I think you're going to be able to quickly tell me what the differences are, right? Kind of a silly story. The Stinky Cheese Man. I'm not going to give any of them away. I'm going to let you tell me all about all the differences between the Stinky Cheese Man and the other stories that we've written. So we aren't going to necessarily work on our reading strategies today. You are going to read your book, but we're going to do a lot of working on our writing. We're going to work on writing our stories. And I asked you to bring to group today one of three things: either that white journal that you have, or white paper to write on, or paper that you have with lines on it, or the gingerbread paper with lines on it. So there's lots of options. You just need paper and a pencil, and we're going to work on our stories. I know I read some stories to some groups. Not all the groups got the same amount of stories or the same stories. So I'm going to read to you just a few stories from some of my former first graders. I believe these stories are from 2015. And what you get a chance to do is hear what other first graders wrote. You want to check and see, do they have a beginning? Do they have a middle? Do they have an end? Do they have details? Does the story make sense? And some of you said some of the stories were short, some were long. Some other feedback was that even though they were short, they were funny. So you really want to think about what you want your characters to be for your story, or who you want your characters to be, where your story is going to take place, and your beginning, your middle, and your end. So real quick. So the first one here is The Runaway Pancake by Logan. One day, a dad made a pancake. His pancakes were so good, the pancake came alive. He came past a mom, but he kept on running. He said, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the pancake man." He came past a brother and a sister, but he kept running. He came past a little boy. The boy said, "Stop. I don't want to eat you." "Why? Take a bite. You'll see." Then he took a bite. That was the end of the Pancake Man. The Runaway Minecraft Pig by Charlie. There was a gingerbread Minecraft pig. He was baked by an old woman, but then he jumped out of the oven and the old lady ran after. The little old woman ran and ran, but she had to sit and rest. And on his way, he met a man. The man ran and ran, but he had to sit and rest. At a tree, he met a fox. The fox said, "I'm going to eat you." And that's what he did. The end. So far, what do you think? Pretty good details? So far, both the stories had a beginning, a middle, an end. The Runaway Popsicle by Allison. Once upon a time, there was a boy that made a popsicle. He put it in the freezer, but before then, the popsicle jumped out of his hand and ran out the door. She came to a little girl named Allison. "You look pretty tasty. I think you will be my dessert." "I don't think so." Then she came to a girl named Addison. Addison said, "You look so good. I really want to eat you now." "I don't think so." She came to a girl named Mackenzie W. Mackenzie W said, "I will eat you." "I don't think so." She came to a girl named Carly. Carly said, "I will eat you now." So she did. Again, pretty good details, pretty good beginning, middle, end. The Gingerbread Lego Daddy by Carter. Once there was a gingerbread Lego Daddy. He was made by a little boy. The little boy opened the oven. The gingerbread Lego Daddy jumped in my hands. He did run out of the oven, and then I caught him and ate him. It was funny. Well, this is one of the ones that we had some varying comments on where they said it was too short or maybe it wasn't totally understandable, but it was kind of interesting. So, you might want to make sure that you add enough details that people understand your beginning, your middle, and your end, right? The Runaway Root Beer Float by Abigail. Once upon a time, there lived an old woman. One day, she went to a market and got a root beer float. It winked at her and ran away. The old woman said, "Come back." But the root beer float said, "No one can catch me. Ha ha." The old woman ran after him. Soon he came to a little girl. He said, "You can't get a bite of me. I'm too fast and you're too slow." "Oh, yeah," said the girl as she ran too. They ran on. Soon the root beer float came to a farmer. He said, "You would make a good snack." "No way," said the root beer float. They ran along and met a boy. He said, "I don't want to eat you." "Why?" asked the root beer float. "Can I have fun with you?" "Sure," said the root beer float. The end. Pretty good details, don't you think? Beginning, middle, end. The Iceman by Preston. There was an old woman and she had a drink. An ice cube jumped out of her cup. He got chased by her. The ice cube man ran from her. He ran into a box. The ice cube he ran into a fox. The ice cube slipped away. Now, this again is a shorter one, but it does have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The Runaway Candy Girl by Mackenzie W. Once upon a time, there was a nice mom and dad and a little girl. She asked the mom if she could make a piece of candy, so the mom did. She went to go get the piece of paper, and the candy jumped off the counter and ran out the door. They started to run. Then the candy came to the little girl named Mackenzie, and she said, "You look good to eat." "No, no, no. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the delicious candy girl." And then she came to a scary fox, and the candy said, "I'm tired." The fox said, "Get on my nose, then you can go to sleep." So the candy did, and snap, that was the end of the delicious candy girl. Interesting. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a little different. The Runaway Gingerbread Cookie by Christy. Granny made a gingerbread cookie. It ran away. It ran to the fox's house. The fox ate the cookie. Again, this one, maybe we could add some more details. It's a little too short, but it does have a beginning, a middle, and end. We really want to look on trying to beef it up, add some muscle, add some details, right? So things you want to think about today as we start our stories. You want to think about your setting, where your story is going to take place, your characters, your details, your beginning, your middle, and your end. Okay? And when we start in group, we'll start with the beginning. A lot of people are saying they were going to start with "One Day I Was" or "Once Upon a Time." Going to be your choice. Make sure you bring that writing paper, okay? So there'll be a little Fundations thing. Read your book. We're going to do our writing. Have a great day, guys. Bye.